Lesson 20B, we're reviewing the second half of everything we've learned so far, which today will be the equations, word problems, and inequalities. So this first one here, well, let me show you the standards first. This was the first standard, which is equations and word problems, and then the second standard we're working on today is the inequalities standard. So the first one on your notes, you don't have to actually solve this one. Just raise your hand and tell me what those two steps would be. Nancy?
-7.
How?
Put positive 7 on both sides. And then we get 400.
So you add 7 to both sides, and then what?
And then you add 22 and 7.
To both sides, and then what's the second step?
And then you divide 4
Good. Okay, this one I also don't need you to do, but what are the 3 steps to solving this one? Go ahead. Combine like terms, and then subtract 6 from both sides, and then divide by... Good, you would divide by 3. This one I would like you to do. Please distribute, add, then divide. Hallie, will you tell us how you did this problem?
So, I divided 6 to y with 6 to -2. So
You mean distributed?
Oh, yes, sir. Distributed. Yeah. And then I got 6y minus 12 equals 60. Then I added 12 to both sides. And then, so that was 6y equals 72. Then I divided 6, and then I got y equals
Y equals 12. Who agrees with y equals 12? Very nice. That is correct. Let's look at number 4. This is basically everything we just practiced, but in word problem form. This should look super familiar, yes?
Yes.
Trevor, can you set it up for us?
Yes. It's 15x plus 24 equals 249.
Excellent. Go ahead and take a minute or so to finish solving this. Ashley, what's the first step to solving this?
The first step to solving this would be to subtract 24 from both sides and then divide it by 15.
Okay, what do you get when you subtract 24?
We get 222. I thought that was 8.
220.
25.
Very good. Zach, what's the next step?
Then you divide 15 both sides, so 225 divided by 15
Is what?
x equals 15.
Very good. Who got x equals 15? Angelica, can you read your sentence? She's working? Where does it say she's working? She's what? She needs to save for 15 more weeks. Alright, let's look at the next one. You don't actually have to do this one, but tell me, what are those 2 steps gonna be? Maya? What are the 2 steps to solving that one? What's the first step? What do we always want to get rid of first? So how do I get rid of it? Subtract 4 from and 16. Good. And then what would the second step be? Hunter, what's the second step? The first step is to subtract both sides. What's the second step going to be? Excellent. I just wanted to hear divide both sides by -2. And just by looking at it, you can already tell that your answer is going to have to flip the symbol or not flip the symbol. Flip the symbol, because if we divided by this coefficient here, this symbol is going to turn the other direction. All right? How about this number 6? You also don't have to do this one, but tell me, what are those 2 steps? Nicole. Subtract 9 from both sides, and then what's the second step? Multiply by 4. Is this 4 positive or negative? Positive. So what happens to the symbol? It stays the same. Excellent. Let's look at number 7. This one I do want you to do. Take a good look at this chart really quickly. Memorize it if you still haven't. And if you don't know how to read these symbols, make sure you know which one's less than and which one's greater than if I ask you. And then look at that word problem. Which word do we need here? What word do we want to look at? Below. Below is which symbol? Less than. So here is that word problem, and there's the word below in it. So it's not equals 900, it's going to be what? Less than 900. This word problem should look familiar to you as well. Anaya, can you set this one up for us? Not equals, it just said below is translated as what symbol? Less than. Good. Go ahead and solve this one, please. Make sure your sentence makes sense. We don't typically say below a number of weeks. Lily, will you tell us the first step to solving it? And what does that give us? 720. Let's have Ariana, what's the next step?
Divide 45 from 35 and 720.
Very good. And let's have you share your answer. How do you read this symbol? X is less than 16. And then your sentence, you can say, do we say below weeks though? It sounds kind of funny. Less than is better. Less than 16 weeks. Who got this one right? Any questions about this one? The only thing I can advise you is be careful. It says below, so don't write equals. Okay? Number 8. You don't have to do this one, but who can tell me what those 2 steps are? Arilissa, tell me what those 2 steps are. Subtract 2.6 from both sides, and then what's the second step? So we got rid of this number. What else do we need to get rid of? We don't want to get rid of the variable. That's what we want to keep. Get rid of constant, get rid of Hallie, help her. First step is to subtract. Second step is to divide. Arilissa, we want to divide both sides by this number to get rid of it. Okay? And since we are dividing by a negative number, is our answer positive or negative? Negative. So you should make sure your answer is negative for this one. You can tell just by looking at it. How about this one? Is your answer going to be positive or negative? Negative again. What are the 2 steps to solving this one, Summer? You don't have to do this one. Just tell me. 2 steps. There's only 2. Add and then? Very good. Add and then multiply, and your answer is negative. Please actually do this one. Trevor, what's the first step?
You use distributive property to get 1.2W and 9 and 12 hundredths equals 200.
Okay. Angelica, what's the next step?
Subtract. I mean, try to get rid of 1.
Yeah, subtract what?
Subtract 9 and 12 from
Okay. And then, what do you have after you subtract? 1.6? 16.0? What's your answer? Isaiah? 1 and 68 hundredths. Yeah, line up the decimals. That's why I put a 0 there. And then, Wembua, what's the next step? And what is your answer? What's your answer? Where did the negative come from? 1.4. 1.4. This whole thing had no negatives in it. Okay. Number 11. This should look familiar as well. Alex, can you set this one up for us? Perfect. Go ahead and solve this, please. Brian, what's the first step? And what do you get after you subtract?
Yeah, 65 from 80, that's equal to 263.
Equals what?
263 and 20.20.
Okay.
Divide
By.
by 65.
Okay. Logan, what's your final answer?
It would take, should I just, it would take 4 hours to say.
Good. Take 4 more hours. Any questions about this so far? Everyone know how to do everything we've been reviewing? Okay. Number 12, I don't need you to do it, but what are those 2 steps? Nevaeh? And then? Good. Add 6 to both sides and then divide both sides by 2/3. Please do this one. Solve the same way. And let's have somebody set this up for us. Wembua? Excellent. Ashley, what's the first step?
First step would be subtract 10 from both sides.
And what are you left with?
You're left with 14.
Hunter, what's the next step? We subtracted 10. That's all we've done.
Divide 2.
And Nevaeh, how do I rewrite the division problem sideways?
4 over 1 divided by
14 over 1.
15 over 1 divided by 14.
And then how do I rewrite that as a multiplication problem?
14 over 1 times 7.
And Emma, what's the final answer? Cross canceled, so I have 7 times 7 left. Zach?
X equals
49 what?
49.
Candles. Very good. Any questions about this? Everyone okay? All right. That's it for today. Number 1, share what you learned today. Ready? Share.